believe 4 years started at the Bell Fountain, correct? You started all 4 years.
Yes, sir.
And that you just played 4 straight seasons of football. Now you're gonna roll into this one, likely not playing like any actual or starting any games.
Yes, sir.
What's your approach to getting better? How do you get better in that situation?
Yeah, really. I mean, I'm in the same mindset I was when I came in here in the spring. Really, just learning everything I can from my coaches and my peers and mentors in the quarterback room. It's really a big focus. For my personal development has been the mental reps. Standing in the back, even though Julian or Lincoln might have the rep, going through it in my mind, picturing what I would do in that scenario, is really big. For all of us, we all emphasize taking mental reps. So mental reps is the biggest thing. You got to picture it in your mind and just play out situations in your head so that when, your time is out there to take reps, you know what to do.
Tavien, there seems to be like a use of the word comfort when it comes to like a quarterback competition. When is it good for quarterbacks to maybe be uncomfortable, and when do you want to be comfortable? I don't know if you know what I'm trying to ask.
Yeah, I think as a room, we really focus on embracing the uncomfortable. I think as a quarterback, if things are comfortable for you, then you're either really well prepared or you're anticipating really well, like Coach Day says. So for us, comfort, it can play a factor, or sometimes it's not good. That you really want to be uncomfortable. I think if the defense is making you uncomfortable and making you, sharp in the mind, you have to be on top of everything. Then it kind of puts you in a flow state where you kind of know exactly what's going on. You put guys in the right spots, make protection calls, things like that. But also, if you're comfortable in those situations when the defense is bringing a lot of things at you and you're in control, you're able to control what goes on. So I think, comfort and uncomfort is something that plays a huge role in quarterback play. And it has its ups and its downs, and they each have their different moments. So.
Where do you feel like you've grown the most from where you were in the spring to where you are?
Yeah, I think really, when I look back on the spring, kind of before we came into fall camp, just what I wanted to get done in fall camp, it was really just like having command of the offense. Like in the spring, I was learning the offense. I was just trying to make sure the operation was clean and things like that. But now I'm really trying to go out and execute, know my reads, go to the right, check down if the, coverage isn't allowing me to throw it down the field and things like that. So really just taking what the defense gives me, not forcing anything, going through my reads, going through my progressions, just making the right play each play.
What is the key for any competition to be good for the room as opposed to bad for the room?
Yeah, I think if you want a inside look at what a good competition looks like, you look right here. If you were to be around us, you wouldn't hear any conversations about what's going on in the competition. We all go out and we compete. We know what we have to get done individually. We know what we want to accomplish as a group. So, we all coach each other up hard in the meeting rooms, things like that. So, I'm sure there's bad quarterback rooms out there. I haven't been a part of a bad quarterback room so far, So I'm sure there's bad ones out there where, people are fighting against each other, are mad about certain reps and things like that. But here we're not mad about reps. We coach each other up. We encourage each other. If we make the wrong read, we tell them, the older guys tell me why I made the wrong read and things like that. So it's been all good, all healthy. We're really getting really close as a quarterback room, and I'm really looking forward to the season.
Was that hard for you to learn? You mentioned kind of take what defenses give you. Was that hard to learn? They'll find you could run around for 8 seconds and find somebody down the field.
Yeah.
Here, windows are tighter, things like that. How did you learn that, and how long did it take for you to kind of get that?
Yeah, I think for me in the spring, it kind of happened for me fast. Everything was moving fast. Like you kind of said about Fountain, like I had to kind of go and make plays. Like, I have a luxury of all great players on the field at the same time as me here. So about Fountain, I had good players, but like they weren't the level that I have here. So like I felt obligated to go and have to make the play. Like I had to make the play. Sometimes it wasn't always the right play, but here you have the great players. They're going to be in the right spots. They know exactly what they're supposed to do. All you have to do is get the ball to them at the right time. So, making sure my footwork is good, my eyes are in the right spot, things like that. Just take what the defense gives you, find the open man, and good things will happen for our offense.
You've been here since January, obviously. What was the toughest part about adjusting to life as a college quarterback at Ohio State?
Yeah, I think really just the time, dedication. You kind of have you feel like you have an idea coming in, like, yeah, I'm going to have to watch a lot of film, things like that. But, like, the attention to detail at Ohio State is different. Like, you really, every single play, every detail has to matter. Like, every inch matters. That's what Coach Day and Coach Mick always say. They always preach that to us. So every inch actually matters here. And you can't have a bad day at Ohio State. Coach Day says all the time, you can't have a bad day. So really learning that every detail mattered, and every little detail that I had to get done as a quarterback, each and every play, was something I had to learn. So.
Is there a specific thing that kind of, Coach Day or Coach Fessler or whoever pointed out and you went, I had never considered that. I didn't know that.
One that stuck out to me the most that I'm trying to work on right now is just really just the processing up in my mind. Like, I know where my reads are, things like that, but like getting to them as quick as I possibly can because the window's closed so tight. In the pass game was something that I've been working on, and something I've had to work through throughout this whole process so far.
Was there kind of a welcome up to Ohio State moment, whether it be in the spring at any point where you kind of realized like, oh, this is a lot different from high school?
Yeah, I think the first practice when I went out, I would say it was not necessarily the first practice, but the first padded practice where it was like contact, live. The intensity was different, and like as a quarterback, you have to be vocal. And if in those moments you're letting the outside stuff get to you and you're not vocal, then the offense is gonna, reflect what you're doing. Who you are as a quarterback. So I had to stand in there, deliver the play, and really instill confidence in my O-line, instill confidence in the players in the huddle with me. And so that was, when you're getting your butt kicked by the defense, it's you learn pretty quick that you have to be on your A game. So.
You mentioned in high school, like you had to make a play, and Ryan always talks about making the routine play.
Make the routine play, yes, sir.
How hard is it, or how long does it take to change that mindset? You're used to like I got to go make a play, and now I'm like this has to be my read. This is where I got to go.
It takes time and it takes reps. Coach Day really preached that to me, in the spring. Like, it's going to take reps for me to get that. I feel like I built on it. Going into the fall, I'm getting a lot better at it. I still have a ton of growth to make as a quarterback, and where I want to be for this room and the teammate I want to be for this team. But yeah, really just it's different. Like I said, it's tough to manage. I'm sure it's different for everybody, but for me, it took a little while because I had to get the reps, throughout the spring and the summer. So.
Last question right here.
True freshman year,
Really, for me, I don't know if it's necessarily like I'm competing with myself. I'm trying to get better every day, be who I can be for this team wherever that's needed. I'm trying to be the best teammate I can be for these quarterbacks, best teammate I can be for this team, because they're all my brothers. At this point, I've been here with them and I've connected with all of them, and just really looking to grow relationships and instill trust in my from them to me, so that they can trust me and trust that I can go out there on the field and play, whenever my number's called. So.
Tavien, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
You're still glad you're playing quarterback.
Was that?
You got a cold?
Yeah, coming over it. Yeah.